Today's video I would like to be a love letter to pattern and to marks and to decoration. I thought I would show you inside my latest sketchbook, this giant sketchbook, and just show you some of the pages. Looking at it through a lens of pattern, I thought I'd pick some books off my bookshelf and show you some artists that I think use pattern beautifully within their art. You know, I was rejected from art college because my art was too patterned. And there is something about this fact that I just find really delightful. I love the fact that that was the feedback they gave me. And I also love the fact that now I really relish and celebrate and incorporate pattern and decoration into everything I create. There's that great quote from Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic Roman philosopher, that says the impediment to action is the action. The obstacle in the way becomes the way. And there is something about the fact that I was rejected from art college because of the pattern and decoration in my art, which has really made me dig into that and do more of it. This is inside my giant sketchbook. It's a sketchbook from Daler Rowney. It's A3, so it's big, so a double page spread is A2, and I've painted the cover just with some acrylic paint. Inside I have basically just scribbled the Book of Joy and Delight. And I started this book in January, and I wrote this here because I just wanted to remind myself that my sketchbook is a place for fun, for exploration, for finding out the things that bring me joy and me delight. That's just a little reminder every time I open the book. And this sketchbook is full of patterned art, lots of marks, lots of repetitions, and I think often, you know, a mark is one and a pattern is two, so it's the repeating that creates a pattern. And I just really love exploring the different properties of the art supplies and the marks and the patterns that I can make. So here it's acrylic paint and some collage and some scribbling, loving and exploring all the different marks and patterns and tuning in to what I'm enjoying looking at, what I'm enjoying making, and just letting that joy be my guiding principle in this sketchbook. Oh, and here I just stuck in some extra pages, so I made this sketchbook even bigger. I love that sort of reveal. So playing with paint. And I tend to use all sorts of different materials in my sketchbook. Here it's acrylic paint. You can usually tell where I have created something in my sketchbook. If it's paint and collage and something messy, I've been doing it in my studio. And if it's just a simple drawing, then I was probably in my living room, watching television, chatting to my husband, enjoying the process of creating patterns, but also the visual maximalism of patterns and leaning into that basically in every page. And here I've just been using a pencil, a 9B pencil, so a really soft pencil. There's something about the quality of the marks and the lines you can create with a really soft pencil that I enjoy. That sort of smudgy scribbliness. Ink, some more pencil, some wax crayon, coloured wax crayon, again pencil, so these kind of repetitive marks, creating detailed patterns. You'll recognise this if you've done my still life class. And then mixing up paint and pencil, creating lines and zigzags and spots and dots. So similar patterns just keep reappearing and reappearing in this sketchbook. And on these pages I'm just using one pen. I'm using a pocket brush pen from Pentel, which has refills. I love the boldness of a monochrome patterned page. And here I'm exploring some patterns and creating these pages of trees. And I think this is going to be the beginnings of my next series of paintings. Just exploring the different shapes and marks and patterns that I can make. I really strongly believe that our art is a reflection, a projection, a expression of who we are as individuals and humans. It's the culmination of all the things that we're interested in, curious about, excited by, and I have always loved pattern. If I think back to my earliest earliest memories, they all in some way involve pattern. The wallpaper on my infant bedroom, the pattern on a bedspread, the pattern on a plate, the pattern on my neighbour's biscuit barrel are things that I remember really clearly. So I've clearly always danced through life with a love and appreciation of pattern. So this book I want to show you is a book of the paintings, drawings and prints of the American artist Terry Winters, and it's a review of a decade of his art career. And I find his work so interesting. He really embraces pattern and line and creates these fascinating explorations, multi-layered abstract paintings. So what Terry has said about his painting process, and this is a quote from him: "Something is being described through the work itself, through a kind of manual imagination. There are people who can make theoretical constructions, but I'm painting pictures. I can't step outside that process and construct an objective account of the pictures. The paintings are projections. They take me places." And I really like that idea of the painting process taking the artist to places, that they are projections. I think that's a useful thing to think through. The essays are a little bit impenetrable. And when I find that the critical description of someone's art is difficult for me to understand, do you know what it does? It prompts me to tune into my own wisdom. And I encourage the same for you. If you are ever in an art gallery and you think what is being said about this work doesn't resonate with me, then tune into, what do you think these paintings are about? Why are they speaking to you? What is the connection that they are making to you? And when I look at his artwork, I feel that he is trying to describe how the universe works. It's like it's a scientific exploration. Half science, half poetry. It's something a little bit like a blueprint or a map or a diagram, but there's also something very gestural and immediate. It's sort of half science, half dance. I love these kind of gestural marks and the repetition. So the definition of pattern is the repetition of a shape or a motif. And there's the repetition of these lines. It feels like his body was involved in the making of these paintings, which I really love. It's like a map or a circuit board or a diagram or an explanation. It's like he's trying to describe how the world works. And that's what I think. It's like a really complex connectivity. So that is the work of Terry Winters. It's published by Yale University Press in 2005. As humans, it is natural for us to seek patterns. It is natural for us to make patterns. I think if you go back in the history of humanity, we have been putting our mark, our decoration, our innate instinctive patterns onto the objects and the walls and the places that we live. It's like we are expressing who we are. We are literally putting our mark onto the world. So another artist that explores patterns so beautifully is Matisse. And this book is called Matisse in the Studio. And it really shows how he collected fabric and patterned items and then used them within his paintings. So it has pictures of him in the studio. So if you look at these paintings here, they're really describing the pattern of this small table, the side table, the pattern on this jug, the pattern on her coat. They're made up of a patchwork of different patterns. And this is the actual item. This jug here, this sort of silver coffee pot, appears again and again and again in his artwork. So this is a textile that he has purchased in Haiti and has in his studio, and then it appears in his paintings. He's taken the pattern from objects and items, from rugs, from textiles, fabric, from wallpaper, and he's really incorporating those into his artworks. So I've been thinking a lot recently about why pattern is so important to me and why it has been a lens through which I look at the world. And I just think we bring all of our different experiences and sensibilities to our art making, don't we? And I was thinking about, actually, when I was small, my mother was studying a textile degree. She was doing a modern embroidery course. And so when I was small, I was taken to a lot of haberdashers and fabric shops. And I just remember being visually excited by seeing all the fabric lined up together, all the clashing patterns and colours in one place. Just really felt like a lovely thing to me. And I think I bring that sensibility to all my artwork now. If I look through this sketchbook, it's full of patterns and clashing patterns and a patchwork of different patterns on one page. And I really love that in my own artwork.